giving you the tools to find higher paying loads and streamline your operation. And right now, you can try the Pro Plan free for 30 days, a $159 value. Click the link in the description to claim your free Pro Plan and start making smarter moves for your trucking business today.
Warning: the following content contains strong language and may not be suitable for children. This content is primarily for adults, as this is a trucking channel and truckers have filthy mouths. Please don't tweak if I say. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon. Today is Christmas Eve, Christ Mice Eve. Happy Christmas Eve to everybody checking in. Let's get this roll call going. We ain't gonna be here long today. We wanna just, make sure we come on, do a little reflection, talk about 2025. Let's get this mindset together real quick, in and out, because I like to I ain't gotta really go out and do no shopping. That's taken care of, but I like to go and just be in the last minute frenzy. I like the feel of the last minute frenzy. So I'm gonna wait till like 6 o'clock this evening. Target stay open at 8, and then I'm just gonna go and I don't know, just go to Target and just buy some shit. Don't got nothing to buy, but I just wanna just be in the frenzy of the last minute Christmas frenzy. So some other things I gotta do too. So I'm gonna make this about 2 hours, maybe less, and then I gotta go. Shout out to everybody. Merry Christmas Eve. How's everybody doing? Let's get this roll call going. Shout out to DDD in the building. Shout out to Sosa, not Sammy. Shout out to ISD Walk. Shout out to all the MGM members. Doug says, I'm looking to start. Been watching your videos. They help me but scare me. But I really want to start. Thanks for the info. Well, that's a compliment. I'm glad they help you, and I'm also glad they scare you. I'm glad they scare you because fear forces you into doing things the correct way. And that's the purpose. And some people don't understand the value in watching other people's mistakes, both in life and in business. That's the point. You have to have a balance. You have to have, you have to see the positives, and you also have to see the negatives. You have to see the results of not doing what's in your best interest, because that fear, it scares you into doing things right. Listen, back in the 80s, in the 90s, you know what I'm saying, from just, coming from an urban city during that time period, even with family members, the results of drug use scared the shit out of me. I never wanted to do drugs. I don't want to stick nothing in my arm. I don't want to hit no pipe, none of that, because the results, I pay attention to everything. Listen, if me doing that gonna have me running around here like a zombie, walking around all day looking at the ground and shit, trying to find loose change and all this goofy ass shit, that shit scared the shit out of me. I never wanted to do it. Me taking my homie to the clinic, I said, you know what, let me strap up all the time. I look at other people's situations, both in life and in business, good and bad, and I look at the value of the lesson, whether it's positive or negative. It's value still in it. All right. So I'm glad that it's been helpful, and I'm also glad that it does provoke some type of fear, because that fear is going to force you to doing what you're supposed to do the correct way. Shout out to Running Warrior. Shout out to everybody from the crib. SD Walk said got the chills. That's that AZ, baby. I had to throw it out. It's Christmas. We had to throw some good vibes. We wanted to make sure it was old school, and then we wanted to make sure that it was some money. It was some money involved in the song. That's why we threw that AZ on, that Sugar Hill, baby. Sugar Hill, baby. Shout out to Dave. What's going on? We carry freight. Shout out to all the MGM members. Shout out to Roger Lacey. Shout out to King Sing in the building. Running Warrior representing the crib. Shout out to J. Cole representing Alabama. Chris P representing Texas. Who else we got? Shout out to Pippi. Shout out to all the moderators. Shout out to Andrew Green representing Jersey. Shout out to Steven. Jonathan representing the Boogie Down. Hey, man. Hey, the Boogie Down ain't looking too good right now, man. Fat Joe got the Boogie Down looking real funny right now, Jonathan. I don't know, man. Fat Joe got the Boogie Down Bronx, and the Puerto Ricans not looking good right now, man. Y'all gonna have to go holler at Fat Joe. Y'all gonna have to go holler at Fat Joe. Shout out to AJ, what's going on? Shout out to Kurt, what's the deal? What's the deal? All right, it's Christmas. Shout out to Beats, happy holiday. I know it's Christmas Eve, so I'm not expecting too many people. So we're finna skate through it and get to it. Shout out to NW Lou too. That was my Christmas gift to y'all. A good little Christmas cheer, a little laughy laugh on Christmas Eve. Make sure y'all go check that out. Shout out to NW. Listen, I tried to spread some Christmas cheer. I said, send me your cash out, NW Lou. Let me drop a little bag on you for Christmas, NW Lou. NW Lou said, no, man. I don't want it, man. Yo, the value you bring is enough. I said, all right, NW Lou. You know, I'll try to drop a little bag on NW Lou for Christmas. That was gonna be my gift to NW Lou, but he turned it down. So shout out to NW Lou. You know, NW Lou, you know, man, the value that NW Lou has brought to the channel, man. Like, appreciate you, NW. Let me know if you change your mind. All right, I got you. All right, let's talk about it. Let's recap 2024 real quick, real briefly. We want to get through it. And then I want to talk about how we should look at 2025. First, let's talk about 2024. Let's talk about the economic landscape of it. It was mixed with a lot of recovery, right? Still recovering, still in the process of recovering, and a lot of uncertainty as well. Inflation impacted the beginning of 2024 and throughout. Rates obviously fluctuated. You saw some signs, and then that was met with some, it was like a emotional roller coaster for some people this year as far as the rates. You saw some signs, and then you saw some rejection, and some people just were frustrated and flustered. We saw remnants of that on the channel as people called in the call-in show, just the frustration, a lot of challenges this year for owner-operators. The lessons were clear. Those that were financially strapped because they either came in financially disciplined, right? And the ones who have already been operating that, were prepared to weather whatever it is this industry and the economy threw at them, were the people that survived, were the people that weren't on the internet complaining, were the people that were still able to profit, were the people that, knew how to weather the storm because they're financially disciplined. This is something that we talk about all the time. Not everybody's failing. There's plenty of people out here that are profitable. They were profitable in 2021, and they're profitable today. They probably were more profitable in 2021 because of what the industry and the economy was throwing at them, because where we were as an economy at that time, but they're still profitable today, just a little bit less profitable, but profitable nonetheless. Everybody's not out here complaining. And this year, it proved it. I told you guys the last year. I told you guys at the end of around this time last year, I said 2024 is going to be a parallel of 2023. And you saw that. And I know some of y'all challenged me because y'all like to listen to Freight Waves. And sometimes Freight Waves puts out some good articles, but still, it's the media. It's big media. It's the biggest media outlet for trucking. So sometimes those stories are not, and I like to believe that these journalists know better, but I think some of these stories are fluffed. I think they have to do what's in the best interest of advertisers, so on and so forth. So it is what it is, So financial literacy is something that if you didn't pick up on the importance of financial literacy this year and then grasp onto those lessons to implement that in 2025, you got another week and a few days to grasp on a hold of the understanding of being financially disciplined and understanding your cost. This year, we focused on cost. Hit the like button. It's a reason why I focus on cost. And guess what? 2025, I may do the same thing. I'm not going to go on to other things if I see an issue that the mass majority is still having a problem with. I gotta continue to beat it into the ground. I gotta beat it into people's heads. Pause. Pause. I gotta beat it into people's heads. Pause. This is what a teacher, if you were in school, I can't speak for teachers today. I heard teaching today, like educators today, I heard, they ain't really all that. But if you were old enough to be in the school system back in the day when teachers were more, I think, really involved, they would really care about, if we were, if there was a certain topic or lecture, or even in grammar school, it was an equation, we were learning algebra or something, and there was one student that was struggling, the teacher wouldn't move on until that one or two students got it. And sometimes I remember some kids being frustrated because it seemed like, okay, the rest of the class, I went to public schools all my life, so 30, 35 kids to a classroom, and it would seem frustrating. I could see the frustration in the two or three kids who didn't got it, and then one kid got it, now it's two kids, and then that one kid that's still struggling, that teacher's still focused. So now the rest of the class is sitting in that class waiting, and that kid is frustrated because everyone else is ready to move on, and it may seem a little bit embarrassing, but that was the way we were educated back in the day. They may seem embarrassed, it may be frustrated, but this is how teachers taught. This is what I know. This is probably why my approach is the way it is. From being taught this way, right? From educators during that time period that I think probably had a little bit more passion, and then coming home and having to get beaten in the head again with education. Living at that time period young with an up and coming public school teacher who was still very new. So she got to practice on me. But she's primary school teacher, elementary school teacher, and she got an elementary child, so she could practice curriculum on me. Those first 10 years, her rookie year was the year I was born. So I was getting beat. I couldn't escape education. This is the way I was taught. So this is the way I know. I'm not, and I know this is kind of going off, but let me kick it. The way some of y'all Gen Z people, and why y'all probably, think that my form of approach is tough, because this is the way it was back then, bro. So this is all I know. It wasn't as, the things that teachers can't get away with now, they got away with back in the day. Everything now is, you can't say that. I'm going to file a grievance against you and the school board. You can't tell my kid, he doesn't know, or whatever. Some of this shit that I read about and see, I'm like, bro, the teacher is in trouble for saying that? What? Bro, when I was in school, the football team and the basketball team, when I was in high school, bro, they used to get hit with a paddle. I witnessed it. Bend over. They messed up a drill. Coach, bend over, hold your nuts. Pause. Listen, discipline, like toughen up. Gotta toughen up. This is business. It's not going to be something that is going to be just laissez-faire and lilies and rose petals. Some of y'all just gotta toughen up, bruh. I just, all right, let's talk about the ill prepared. This is another thing that we came across. I think, I highlighted it a lot on this channel. This is a year, parallel, similar to the last 3-4 years. We saw a lot of newcomers come into the industry and exit prematurely. It's like they came in and they came in so quick, we didn't even know they came in. We found out they came in when they was already out. That's how quick they came in and came out. We found out that they was in after they already was out. They came in quick and they got out quick. Why? Ill prepared, not enough capital, because, they misled. They thought they could come in with a nickel. And some people still think they can come in with a nickel because they think coming in is just, this is the amount of money I need to get the rental, put the down payment, get my equipment, $5,000. So I got $5,000. So now they came in on the low, but now they ain't got no money to operate. And then that's why you got the stories of the guys that come up that say they lasted 2 weeks, and the guys that come up and say they lasted 30 days because they didn't have no working capital. But when you explain working capital, when you explain cash flow, it's like you talking to a deer in headlights, because their favorite person didn't tell them about this. They didn't substantiate this to them. And even with me trying to explain this to them, they still are just lost. You need money to run a business. You can have everything you need, authority, license, all the equipment, the truck, and a tank of gas. But if you have nothing else to sustain, you're running a broke business. And it's only a matter of time that one little situation happens, which a lot of these people don't think will happen, just like the 28-year-old. I might have to DJ Vlad that one. I might have to redrop that one again, because that's a great video. That 28-year-old guy, he didn't think nothing was going to happen. Like, bro, I've told you stories. Anything could happen. You could break down. You could not get paid. You could damage your first load and not get paid. You running on a hope and a prayer, thinking everything going to work out. And that's just not like how life works. Life don't work like that. Business don't work like that. You need working capital. I don't care what nobody tell you. My link is always pinned to the top. We ain't going to pin it right now because I want to get through the lecture. But you can't say you running a business and you ain't got no working capital. It just don't make sense, bruh. If you come in with just enough money, that's not enough. Like, bro, why y'all be like, that shit don't even make no sense to me, bro. I can't even wrap my head around why people think that. This ain't no hustle. This a business. Man, if you want to hustle, they got gig apps. Go find you a gig app. That's a hustle. You can't build no business with a gig app. People get mad when I say that. But if you want to hustle, go get you a gig app and focus just on the gig app. That's a hustle. If you want to, nothing is for certain, but if you just want just for sure uncertainty, go work, just work straight off the gig app. Another ill-prepared thing. Shout out to NW. NW, I know you watching because you've been real active in the chat, the comment section in that video. This is the phrase of the year. When is this 2024? It's Christmas Eve. We're going to kick it.
I don't give a fuck about a cost per mile.
NW Lou, thank you for the sound bite of the year. But guess what? He just had enough guts to say it. This is why we tried to drop a bag on NW Lou this morning. I tried to drop a bag on NW Lou. We got so much great content, but he turned it down. That was my Christmas guy. I just want to tell him I was waiting for Christmas Eve I plan to drop that video today. I've been waiting for 3 months since that happened. I said, I'm gonna drop that clip on Christmas Eve, and then I'm gonna give him a gift. He didn't want it. But he just had enough balls to actually say it. Everybody else comes up here, they just, well, man, I want to say it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know.
I don't give a fuck about a cost per mile.
And that's what a lot of people's problems is, and this is why they struggle. They don't know what it costs them to run their business. I don't know why people don't want to sit. The formula is really simple. Like, it'd be different if it was like an equation, like algebra with trigonometry or something. Then I can understand, like, if the formula calculates your cost per mile was like an algebra with trigonometry equation or a calculus equation, then I would understand. Cost divided by miles driven equals cost per mile. The formula is so simple. Calculate all your cost for whatever time period that you're calculating your cost per mile. If you're doing it weekly, if you're doing it monthly, calculate your miles driven. You should know what your miles are. Whatever the total cost is, right? Divided by the miles you drove is going to equal your cost per. The formula is simple, but yet and still no one wants to do what's in their best interest. And then you get mad at me for exposing that. 99% of the people, 99.8% of the people that have come up here, we've done 40 episodes. A multitude of people have not known their cost per mile. I guarantee some of your favorite content creators.
I don't give a fuck about a cost per mile.
I bet you, I'm willing to bet you. When we step outside mediocrity, because this is what we do on this channel, we get down to the bottom line. And that's what scares people, like the guy earlier said. But guess what? If we do what's in our best interest, we don't have to worry about shit like that. We don't have to worry about struggle. We don't have to worry about things that everybody else. If you see that majority of the people, the statistics, numbers don't lie. You see the statistics. Majority of the people that come into this industry, they fail. Parallel that with what I present with people that come up here. So if you're coming in and you see that, and this is the competition that's presented to you, the only thing you need to do is what's in your best interest. Why don't we do what's in our best interest? If I was looking at this as a new entrant with common sense, I'd be like, shit, this is sweet. This is sweet. So the only thing I got to do is work really hard, save up enough money to come in and have enough working capital to sustain the business, come in with a very low cost, as low as possible, because I understand this industry, the market fluctuates. There's going to be economical downturns. There's going to be unforeseen situations that are going to be beyond my control that I just, we don't know what's going to happen. But if I come in and I prepare myself, if I understand what it costs me to run my business and try to figure out ways to cut costs as much as possible. And then as far as the competition is concerned, this is what I'm dealing with. Oh man, it's a piece of cake. I should be up and running, and after a year running and understanding the landscape of how this industry works, man, I should be ready to start scaling by year 2.5. I ain't worried about the competition. They're not even doing what's in their best interest. I'm gonna beat them 40 ways going north. I don't get it, but yet still you have people that come in that don't.
I don't give a fuck about a cost per mile.
Chasing money, looking at these going to the load board. Y'all got to stop going on the load board, seeing 1,200 and thinking that's good. Or this myth of the $2 a mile myth. Listen, we got to do some research. We got to find out who started this $2 a mile myth. The whole $2 a mile, because then you have a lot of people who as long as I get $2 a mile, don't even know your cost per mile. Your cost per mile could be over $2. Your cost per mile could be $1.95. So just because you heard $2 a mile, you got to get to $2 a mile. I bet $2 a mile, cool. But what does it cost you? Does it cost you $2 a mile to run? Because if that's the case, this is the reason why you fell and you struggling. You asking me, where's all the money going? You going out cross country day in and day out, defeating the whole purpose of what you got into this business for in the first place, because you don't even know what it costs you to run your business. Running off some shit that somebody told you $2 a mile. Man, if you get $2 a mile, you straight.
I don't give a fuck about a cost per mile.
Let's talk about these apps for the people that came in and thought that they was going to run off the apps, because we saw a lot of that in 2024. And I told you a year and a half, 2 years ago, get the apps to supplement. Some people got so frustrated and desperate, they thought they was going to run dedicated on a gig app. How can you run dedicated on something that's labeled gig? There's nothing certain about a gig. The key word is gig. You got your hopes up all high over a gig. And then they tricked you. They let you run. And then what do all these gig apps do this year? All of them did the same thing. And notice how all these gig apps right around the same time. Some more worse than the others. Some was detrimental. It's like they cut the shit in half. Cut their rates. Ooh. But I told y'all, all these companies do the same thing. This goes back to what I say, understanding business. Disruptors, new companies that have venture capital, that have angel investors, that get $10 million in series round funding from companies like Andreessen Horowitz. They have money to blow. You don't understand business and you thought that shit was going to last forever. You have case studies in other industries that have been disrupted that you can utilize and compare. Any new company that comes in that's disrupting an industry or has some type of new technology, they're going to pay you a premium. Why? Because they're spending millions of dollars in VC money marketing to a consumer to use their platform. So if they got a bunch of new people using their platform, they need service providers to meet that demand. How do we get service providers quickly? By paying a premium to attract them. And then once we disrupt the industry, we get a stronghold on the industry, we slowly start increasing the price on the consumer. We slowly start to lower the price on the service provider because we didn't get in business to make you rich. We got in business to make us rich. Now that we have a strong hold on the industry, on the market, and we have people accustomed to using whatever service that we're providing to the point where now they rely on us, we're going to screw them over and we're going to screw you over because now it's time for us to chase profitability. See, we got in this business to be profitable. So now we're finna cut the rate. We've seen it in other industries. So the rideshare industry was probably one of the first industries in probably the last 10, 15 years that you can use as a case study that was notorious for it, and they're still notorious for it because they still haven't found a way to be profitable yet. They had 1 quarter profitability, which is Q4 of 2023. Uber has not been profitable since 08-09. They've had 1 profitable quarter, Q4 2023. This is why you see all these rideshare drivers complaining, and this is why you see people who take rideshare complaining about the prices because they're paying triple what they were paying 10 years ago to go to the same place. And they're going to continue to do it. Why? Because they're trying to find that sweet spot where they can be profitable. Why? Because the shareholders want to make money. No one cares about you and your business. I hope we understand that now. I've been trying to tell y'all, we can't go into 2025 with this mindset that everybody owes you something. Man, the brokers and the 3PLs and, this, that, and the third, bro. Everybody is out for their best interest, broker transparency and all this. Everybody's placing the blame on everybody instead of focusing what they need to be focusing on, which is their business. You're responsible for your business. Listen, I hope I don't have to have this discussion next year. Greed. The word is there for a reason. It exists for a reason. There's a definition for that word for a reason. And most companies are greedy. If you don't have a greedy mind, if you call yourself a business owner, and you should be thinking greedy too. But Mark, where are your morals at, bro? Like, well, you come into trucking, a cutthroat industry. and you want to kumbaya. Just like I told MW Lou in the video.
I don't give a fuck about a cost per mile.
I said, MW Lou, if I see a naive person and they're my competition, I'm in a 3PL and they not doing what's in their best interest and they got a sweet route, and I can leverage, me being a master contractor in here in the relationships, because I know the 3PL relies on me to do a lot of recovery because I have the resources to do so. Yeah, I'm going to take his shit. Why? Because I don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life. And that's why every opportunity I saw, I took it, which also helped me scale. Because there's a plethora of people that don't do what's in their best interest. We see that time and time again. If you don't want to do what's in your best interest, you're going to be just like everybody. You're going to be the 85 to 95% of people that come in this industry and fail. You do what's in your best interest. You get in, you get it. You diversify your asset portfolio by investing in other things. You take your money and run. Nothing lasts forever. Me personally, long are the days of building a business and passing it down from generation to generation. Technology moves too quickly now. That was once a way of, building generational wealth from a business perspective. In my personal opinion, I think those days are slowly fading away. Technology has a part to do with it. And then also the generations that are coming after us, your children, my future children, people that had boomers that had millennial children, Generation X that had millennial children. I know elders that have owned businesses, thriving businesses in the community, restaurants. And one or two things happen. Either their children took it, but they didn't. Once their parents passed away, their children took over and ran it into the ground because they weren't as disciplined and they didn't care about the business like the parents did, because the parents' blood, sweat, and tears is what built the business. The kids just became, acquired the business by inheritance. And what they do, they blew the bag. Ooh, Bentley. And I'm not, for people from the crib, I'm using an example. I'm thinking of one business in Chicago in my head. I'm not going to say the name. Bentley, Rolls. Ooh, all the bad chicks, all the social media, the top club chicks from the city. Oh, he was running through all of them. Multiple places, blew the bag in a short period of time. Now it's gone. The next scenario is the kids don't want the business. We see a lot of children today, they don't even want the parents' business. They don't want the responsibility. Why? Because they've seen how their parent slave not only to build a business, but keep the business afloat. And this is just my personal opinion from things that I've seen and the way technology is moving. You may want to build a business and think you're going to be able to, it's going to stay in the family for generations to generations, but if the next generation doesn't have the mental fortitude, they don't have the tenacity and the ambition to keep things going, then a lot is changing. So we saw this year that the whole gig thing and how people latched onto that and they thought that they could run that and they was tricked. Let's talk about what else do I want to talk about? Let's talk about 2025. We need to speed this up. Basics. One thing that we learned, and it's something that I've talked about, is mastering the basics. All you guys that think you're finna come in and just come in with a multitude of trucks and all this, then the third, stop dreaming. You don't even know how to run one truck. Start with one. Start small. I recommend you start even from a more humble beginning than that. Start with your car. Start in logistics with your car. A lot of people, I'm going to keep it a buck with you. A lot of people that start with a 26-foot box truck, majority, not all, some people that come in with a bag really don't have enough money to really start with that level of equipment, right? They'll come in, but then they don't have the working capital to sustain, and not just sustain the business, but sustain their cost of living. Once you quit your job, all right, you have to be able to weather the learning curve, and the learning curve costs. All right. So you got to sustain a business, and you also have to sustain your cost of living. If you don't have enough money for at least a year to be able to listen, if you ain't playing with a bag, a 26-foot truck, I don't think you should start with it. Keeping a buck with you. That's one of another main reasons a lot of people fail. So we have to understand that a box truck, 26-foot box truck, it's a business. It's a business. All right. And we need to make sure that we are truthful with ourselves. Stop listening to this dumb shit of $4,000 and $5,000 and $3,000 and Amazon. Just go to Amazon, and then they're gonna it's a company that ain't going nowhere. This, that, and the third. All that's fine, but we see people fail at Amazon. We see people fail at over the road. We see people fail at everything because they didn't do what's in their best interest, and they didn't have the right mindset. Start off small. Some people should actually go work for a company in whatever industry that they want to start. Even if you want to come into logistics, a lot of these companies have routes that you could do in your car. Do the route in your car. Understand what it is to do a route. Pay attention to, the market. If you want to stay local, okay, take an Amazon Flex route in your car. Get the feel of what it's like doing that many stops and delivering that many packages. Understand what it's like going into the terminal and having to deal with the operations people in there and the dispatcher and the loading process. Understand the time constraint that you're under. Get some type of understanding of this before you go invest your money and then don't know what the hell to do. It's great. Your picture on Instagram looking good where you sitting on your van or your box truck like this, hashtag new business owner. That shit great. Then you get all your little emojis and all your little comments, and then hashtag won't he do it? Won't he do it? But then next week when you start and you feel like, man, you see that this shit real, it's a whole different story. Just because you got the van or the truck don't mean you're going to be successful. Your bills is $5,000 and you need 10. Can you tell me how to move this whole ass truck? That's what you're going to be hitting the link asking me. My bills is 5. I need this truck to move 10. Can you tell me how to move this whole ass truck?
I don't give a fuck about a cost per mile.
That's what you're going to be asking me. So we need funds. I say a year. I say you should have at least a year worth of funds. Rule of thumb, 3 to 6 months for the business. Rule of thumb, 6 to 12 months for your personal. We're going to say a year in totality. Make sure you come in with as low as of an overhead as possible. I know some of your favorite people tell you to go buy a new truck, hit the like button. But I'm going to tell you like this. Why? Why go buy a brand new truck and you don't even know what the hell to do with it? Why put yourself in under financial strain like that? The newer the truck, the more costly your operational cost is going to be. Go buy a used truck, a good used truck. Take your mechanic with you. Pay your mechanic. Don't just take man, the little crackhead mechanic in the family who gonna crawl up under there. He got his dingy wife beater on and shit. Yeah, nephew. Don't take him with you. What's that, nephew? Yeah, I'm gonna go with you, man. Just give me $15, nephew. Don't take him with you. Take you a real diesel mechanic. Pay him whatever they want, a couple $100 to go out and diagnose it. Don't take Uncle Ray Ray, who walked with hunched over and shit. He always walking around looking at the ground because he looking for change so he go get that hit. He know how to work on cars. One thing about them crackheads, they know how to fix some shit. But don't take him with you because he may don't take him. Go get you a used truck. Now, that's up to you. I know your favorite people say, hey, man, don't do, all right, well, keep your costs low. The truck gonna break down, Mark. The new truck gonna break down too. We got people that's done bought new trucks. It was one in the Discord. 30 days, it was broke down. Over the course of the year, you're going to save a lot more money than buying a new truck, right? And your finance cost. And you're going to save a hell of a lot more money than renting. If you have to rent to start, then okay, understood. Everybody's situation is different, but you need to have a plan coming in on how you're going to transition out of that truck in 6 to 12 months. You do not want to be in that truck in today's time, longer the days where you could rent a truck and it's worth it. Those days are over with. Those days are over with. You do not want to be in a truck where you're buying the truck year in and year out. You bought that truck pretty much after 12 months of rental. Facts. No, it ain't, Mark. The truck about $25,000 more than what I paid. You think Ryder and Enterprise and Budget and Penske is paying what you paying for the truck? They ordering thousands and thousands of trucks directly from the manufacturer. They're not paying what you paying for. You paying MSRP. See, when you go to a truck, that dealer has bought that truck from the manufacturer wholesale, and then they've added a markup and then sold it to you. Big companies like that, they deal directly with the manufacturer. Man, we need 4,000 trucks, man. We need 4,000 trucks for 2027. We need 5,000 trucks. Their orders for years ahead are already ordered. Amazon ordered 100,000 Rivian vans 4-5 years ago. They ain't even got delivery of all them vans yet. Who you think they ordered from? Rivian of Chicago? No, they order them directly from Rivian. Why? Because they're a large stakeholder in Rivian. They deal directly. Bosses don't deal with middlemen. Bosses deal with other bosses. Man, we ordering. Man, we got, for the next 5 years, we got over 100,000 trucks on order, man. Man, the International, Freightliner, man, they building those trucks for those companies. They build trucks for retail, but they also build trucks for business to business. They building them to spec. Those yellow Penske trucks, they're built that color yellow directly from the manufacturer. They're built to spec for that customer. They're not paying what you pay because they're buying in volume. You paid for the truck the first year. We can talk business or we can talk play. So you need to have a plan. We need to stay away from places like Perco. You don't have to deal with places like Perco if you have a plan and you understand what you're getting into before you get into it. If you know that you when you go to Ryder, when you go to Enterprise, when you go to Penske, that these are the parties that they deal with, because traditional banks don't deal. One, they don't finance used commercial equipment for a few reasons. One reason is because most new businesses fail. It's too risky for the bank. They're risking other people's money on the hopes that you survive the first year. Not going to do it. Two, they don't finance used commercial equipment because it's too much of a risk, because we don't know how the equipment was utilized prior to you. It's commercial. We beat this stuff up. We drive miles and miles over the road, hours and hours every single day. We're beating, we're doing moves, we're doing OTR, we're doing a lot of stop and go with local curbside. We're putting a lot of weight on these trucks. These are work vehicles. It's too much of a risk. This is why Bank of America and all these places don't deal with that. So they have to find companies, not financial institutions, that are willing to take this risk. And because it's a higher risk, they want a higher return. The higher the risk, the higher the reward. But if I know this, I'm not, me personally, you do what you want to do. You dig what I'm saying? I'm straight. You mean to tell me I can save 20, 25,000 if I just exercise a little bit more patience, work a little bit harder, delay some more gratification, and put that money to the side, I can come in with cash. Especially when you on the new, when you are a tenured person already in the industry, you have other options. And then by that time, you should have cash flow anyway. When you see people that are tenured in the industry, even in my chat, when people be coming up talking all this crazy shit about how they failing and shit, you'll see people like Running Warrior like, hey man, where you at? I'll buy the truck right now, cash. Where you at? You don't need it, bro. Where you at? I'll buy your truck off you right now. What's up? You know better, you do better. Why put yourself in that jam like that? Then come up to me, and then this is why I got so many case studies, because people send me to say, hey Mark, look at this deal for me. A $50,000 truck, you end up paying $96,000 for it. And then no one realizes this until, 8 months into their box truck journey, and now they're trying to figure out where all the money is at, and then they start looking at all the stuff that they should have looked at earlier, and then they get to this, man, Mark, I just looked at my contract, man, I'm paying $1,600 a month, but I just did the math. I just times it times 60. This truck is I paid $50,000 for it when I bought from Ryder, but 1,600 times 60 months is like $96,000. So you mean to tell me damn near a year later you decide to do the math? Or what about the young boy from a few weeks ago, hit the like button, or about a month ago that came up? I ain't heard from young bull. After I gave him that harsh reality of what he got himself in, he didn't even know he was leasing a truck. The guy who I had to break down his contract, me breaking it down, looking at it on the stream, the man is leasing a truck. Didn't even know it. Even in the verbiage, if he doesn't write them a letter, 90 to 120 days prior to the end of the lease term, they are going to assume that he's turning the truck in at the end of the lease. He didn't know none of that until he came up to my channel. I had to hold him accountable. I had to get into his business, which a lot of y'all don't like. Oh, why are you so hard? If I wasn't hard on him, he wouldn't even know that he signed a lease instead of a finance agreement. Y'all remember that? And guess what? He hung around the channel for a few days. Once I found out what the issue was, got on the phone with the goddamn company. Was it the Dakota Finance or one of them companies? And he got the information that he needed out of me pro bono for free, which is no problem. This is what I'm here for. Some of y'all don't like it. But look, I had to go that way with him to even get to that. I ain't seen him. He ain't even said, Mark checking in from Alabama, nothing. Can't even come back and hit the like button and got the information he needed. Now all he know he in a lease. And now he know that, okay, I need to make sure I write a letter by certified mail, and I need to make sure they get it between 90 and 120 days or they're going to come take this truck prior to the lease term. But NW Lou said I'm destructive. I just saved that guy because his truck was finna be Dakota Finance. They was finna come take that truck. So we need to understand, we need to read. The people that follow the channel, they see there's always new people come in, they see whatever the content is today, and they, oh my God, this is scary. No, we do a lot of great things on this channel. We've saved a lot of people on this channel, believe it or not. Real truckers and real people that are in this industry aren't like moist. They gotta get that moist stuff up out of here, man. So we need to be more, we need to read. Read your contracts. Don't go into 2025 excited. And to all my people that's watching right now, y'all time is coming. The tax people, I know y'all watching. I see y'all watching. Hit the like button. Y'all watching because y'all the ones that be quiet. Y'all the ones that don't interact in the chat. All my tax people that's watching, that's waiting. Next month is your month. Now, this is the satire that people don't like. They get upset, but this I'm still going with it. Just follow the joke. Next month is your month. It's coming. The countdown begins today. The tax money is about to come. All right. When the tax money get here from your BM, and I know you're spending a lot of quality time with it right now. I know you're spending this quality time. I know you went to the mall with your pajamas on. You didn't want to. You put them plaid Christmas pajamas. You had to take the picture with her kids. Them ain't your kids, but you finessing for the tax money. Box truck business 5,000. Make sure when you go to Ryder, to Penske, wherever you go, you read your contract. Read it. If it doesn't make financial sense, don't sign it. Don't be so thirsty to come into this industry that you don't do what's in your best interest. And you put yourself behind the 8 ball from signing something for something that they're selling to you for 50, but because they have to go through a hard money lender, a predatory lender, because you're a high risk for a multitude of reasons. And I just gave you an example of 2. Look at the contract and do the math. Don't just sign it. Oh, well, 1,600. Yeah, I should make that. My favorite box truck content creator said I can make 10,000 a week. See, that's where a lot of people get sold at, because these people are showing them 9,600 on the screen and shit like that. So they think that little 1,600 ain't shit. And because of that, they don't sit down and actually do the math. But let's say that is the case. Let's say you do make 10,000 a week. Highly unlikely, but let's say you do. You're still supposed to sit down and do the math and know what you're signing. I don't care if you're going to gross that much and this is what you're going to pay a month. Still, you're still supposed to do the math and do what's in your best interest. The key is to spend as little money as possible and make as much money as possible. Why? Because when you practice this widens your profit margin. Oh, you just hear the angelic oh. Like, I don't understand why people don't understand that. So let's make sure we read these loans. Listen, we need to invest in things that's going to help you streamline your business this year too. All right. If you guys got logs, some of these companies offer, upsells where you can, manage your, equipment. If you're running a fleet, you need some type of software to track your equipment. All right. So this is more geared toward the fleet owners. So you can track, the driver's behavior so you can do corrective action, which ultimately helps you save on maintenance. It helps you save on fuel. All right. So make sure you're using technology wisely. I think 2025 for people who don't have, this type of software implemented into their fleet, I think it's a great investment. All right. This is one of the main ways that I was able to correct driver behavior, paying attention to the harsh braking, paying attention to the idling, paying attention to the harsh acceleration, monitoring the driving behavior, speeding, getting those notifications so we could do corrective action, because we don't want to be like Amazon. Uh-oh. We don't want all these fatalities. We don't want no blood on our hands, because the difference between us and Amazon, if we have some of the issues that they have, like a fatality, just go ahead and turn off the lights, pimp. Just turn off the lights. It's a wrap. It's over with. Just cut the lights off. All right. We need to jump ahead of, these guys that are out with our equipment, with our livelihood, that's not doing what's in the best interest for themselves, but also not doing what's in the best interest for us and just the general public altogether. We have to protect the asset. We have to protect the bag. And I think investing in certain technology is a great investment. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I would implore, people to do. Let's talk about diversification going into 2025. Stop putting all your eggs in one basket. That's why a lot of y'all got caught left holding the bag. For instance, like the gig apps. The gig apps are there to supplement. Don't rely on the gig app. I don't give a goddamn what you doing. Unless you're supplementing, you shouldn't focus directly on that. It's not for certain. All right. If you are, running final mile, for instance, and you have a small fleet of vehicles, diversify what 3PLs you're running for. If you got 5 vehicles, you shouldn't have all 5 working for XPO. If you're running XPO and they're running for Lowe's and they lose Lowe's in your market, now all 5 of your trucks are down. If you got 5 trucks, maybe you should have 3 running for XPO, maybe you should have 2 running for NAL. Right? Because these companies, these 3PLs, they lose contracts all the time. And I'm speaking from experience. You don't want to have all your assets sitting in one place, especially if you're at scale. You got 5, 8, 9, 10 trucks and they're all running this one account. That's not good. That's not good. Diversify. Something that I talked about, some people made the transition, niche. Find a niche. If you're struggling with OTR, because it can be very difficult for a lot of people who don't want to do what's in their best interest, find a niche, something maybe local. If your market has something available that is more localized, and find a good niche. Maybe get into medical delivery if you have a van. Maybe you get into curbside. If you really want to, source people to work, maybe get into final mile big and bulky. Maybe start moving. If one thing isn't working for you, and for the life of me, I don't understand why people just want to be stuck with doing it. There's other things you can do. Well, man, Mark, I don't want to do that. So you want to continue to fail with what you're doing? You got a truck. There's other things you can do. Well, man, that's too much work. So why are you in business? Like next year, I'm not gonna I'm going to ramp up the accountability. I'm gonna ramp it up. All right, we're gonna ramp it up next year. Yeah, we're gonna ramp it up. We're just gonna get a tad bit rougher. Pause. A tad bit harsher. Just a little bit, not much. We are going to give you more, even more realistic viewpoint. Because we need you to understand fully what you're investing in. Work is work. I look at work as work. Some people don't want to work. If you bought a truck to come in and do no touch freight and you don't want to do your cost per mile,
I don't give a fuck about a cost per mile.
right? because you don't know math, you don't know arithmetic, or you're just lazy, or whatever the reason is, and then you, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that because I got to touch the freight. Bro, this ain't the industry for you, and next year I'm going to let you know. I'm going to be even more transparent. Yeah, I already made it up in my mind. Let's talk about market trends. And here's something that, it's not even debatable. And this is why I don't debate it no more. I hear people say things, and certain things, I just say, well, listen, certain things, what's known don't need to be explained. People can run from reality or make excuses and shit like that. That's fine. But let's understand that we need to adapt to the market. The economy, listen, it's just not there just to be there. It's there for a reason. Micro and macro exist for a reason. Microeconomics and macroeconomics exist for a reason. And the people that utilize studying economics and understanding economics when it comes to business, and even more detail when it comes to the industry that they're investing in, which is trucking, are the people that thrive. Even the economics of trucking. How can we ignore that? Oh, well, man, the economy ain't got no say-so on what I do. You a fool if you think you don't. Just the statement alone is ignorant. Just the statement alone is ignorant. Because guess what? If the economy ain't moving, you ain't moving either. If people aren't spending, volume goes down, and it has a direct impact on trucking. So when people say this is why I don't even argue it no more. Because I know that it's just, it doesn't even make any sense. Because if it didn't, then why did rates go up in 2020, 2021? Because I see where the economy went in 2020, 2021 and the beginning of 2022. And because where we went as an economy, the industry reflected it. Why? Volume went up, demand went up, supply went up to meet the demand, which it never really met, hence the rates. But then when it started to come down, the overlingering supply was still there, and it's still present in some sense, but the demand isn't there. The volume isn't there. The consumer buying behavior is not there. Hence the rates correcting themselves. So I saw the economy go one way, and then I saw it go another. But you have people, content creators and viewers, that argue that the economy has no bearing on what the rates are. I don't even argue it no more. I don't even argue it no more because it just doesn't even make sense to argue. These are people that are just naive. But I guarantee you one thing. If they took the time, sometimes people dislike what they don't understand. And it's not because they may not understand it because they tried to understand it. It's probably because they didn't even attempt to look into it to really see how it can be beneficial for them. People denounce what they don't know or what they don't understand instead of having an open mind. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me that even still in 2024, after what we just went to, people will denounce economics and trucking. It doesn't. E-commerce, for instance, we're starting to see some stabilization. Well, Mark, how do you know? Look at the economy. Look at some of the places, and you guys like to use applications. Why did all these apps that aren't even financially tied together, different companies, around the same time dropped the rates. Do you think if demand was there still, or volume was still there, hit the like button, and it was constantly going in an upward trajectory, that some of these apps would have slashed rates? Hmm. So we're seeing some type of stabilization. Why did Amazon lay off over 100,000 people in 2022? Why are there dormant Amazon facilities that were going through construction throughout the pandemic? Because Amazon was building more facilities to meet the volume, to meet the needs of the business. Meeting the needs of the business was the volume. So they were building more and more facilities. Why did they cease construction on a lot of those places? And why were the places that were already built, that were waiting to be open, never be open? We have some here in the city of Chicago. Been vacant and dormant for 3 years now. Why? Because that company peaked. And this is the e-commerce giant. How does the economy don't have any bearing over the trucking industry? Things that make you go, The people that understand this are the people that do better. These are the people that thrive. They're constantly ahead of the curve. And this is what individuals, this is the mindset that an individual that's going into 2025 should have. You should already be, mentally, you should be 6 months ahead. Right now, we should be mentally in May. We've already mapped out the first 2 quarters of the year. This is a person who is running successfully. They're not living day to day. So when I hear certain things, I don't even have the capacity anymore to just even go against people, go against, it just don't make sense. What is going on right now, even though we're seeing some stabilization, is the demand for items faster. This mindset, this sentiment is constantly growing. Hit the like button. Companies are still trying to figure ways to get consumers products quicker, hence in-store fulfillment. Now, if I was a fledgling young scholar that was coming into the industry, studying the industry and seeing where the industry is going, seeing where the power players in the industry, the goals that they're trying to meet, this is what I would be targeting. So individuals that complain about how the economy has no bearing, this is why they have time to complain in my chat that the economy don't got nothing to do with how they move their truck, or content creators that say this shit. Because you're not thinking ahead. You're not opening your mind. You're not a visionary. A visionary is always thinking ahead. And I think a good, successful business person is a person that is a visionary. Certain things I just leave alone now. The people that get it, get it. The people that don't, why they did this? How you going to position yourself by studying where the power players are taking the industry to, so that you can meet that demand and capitalize on this early before everybody else follows? See, what y'all don't understand is the early adopters are the ones who get to the bag and get the most out of the bag first, before everybody else who was the late bloomers follow. See, this is a visionary mindset. But if a person says, oh, You know, hey, it's peak season coming up, man. Yeah, it's peak season coming up. Be ready. I was don't them content creators get gems for saying shit just as simple as that. I just told you. The industry is trying to find ways, and they're constantly trying to find ways to get. From what I'm reading, some of these companies, some of these power players, when you order something, they want to deliver to you within 15 to 30 minutes. This is the goal. This is the direction. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to help these companies meet that demand? This is where the next on-demand final mile delivery that fast and that quick of a turnaround is where they're headed, and this is where they're trying to take it. What are you going to do to make sure that you get a piece of that before everybody else tries to come along? I'm going to tell you what they're going to do. They're going to do more in-store fulfillment, and they're going to do like micro 3PLs. They're going to start finding, and they've already doing it in some places, finding old abandoned warehouses, small, not big, not multi-million square feet like Amazon, 15, 20,000 square feet. And they're going to do micro fulfillment centers. GoPuff kind of had it in mind earlier in their, starting phase, and they've kind of scaled back. I don't think GoPuff is really doing good right now. But they had the idea. GoPuff had the idea. I just don't think they had the capital. And I don't think that the niche that they were targeting, which was snacks and groceries and shit like that, was right. This is why they kind of folded under the and I don't know if they've done this in every market under the Uber Eats umbrella. But this was what they were doing. They were opening up these little micro fulfillment centers. So staying ahead of the curve, understanding what the economy is doing, the market trends, so on and so forth. Let's talk about networking. This is something that a lot of people refuse to do. One, complacency is just bad, man. Like a lot of people just complacent where they're at, complacent on educating themselves. When you start a business, you're committing to a lifelong journey of just educating yourself. And education can come from everywhere. You can get, a lesson out of good things and bad things, right? So, celebrating small wins. I keep telling y'all about stop chasing all these home runs every single time and embrace some of these small wins and compound them. All right. Learning from others. Last night or yesterday, there was a clinic going on in the Discord for about 6-7 hours. All those people that wanted to know about Hot Shot, there was a guy in there talking very, very eloquently about the Hot Shot business, brokering as well. Like 6 hours yesterday. Not my lane. Never been a broker, never been a person in Hot Shot, but I built a platform for people to network, and you have people that are more well-versed in other things that provide value for absolutely free. But you know what? So many people are prideful that they miss it. Now, that's not something that you're going to ever get again. Why? Because it was live and it was not recorded. I sent out the notification, about 20 people showed up. And it was free. 6 hours. And guess what? About 2/3 of the people that came in there, they stood the whole 6 hours. They asked questions. and they soaked it up. For 6 hours. This is how I've leveraged my visibility to help others by using technology and using another platform to provide more engagement. That if I'm not there, see, in order for me to, provide, information on YouTube, even if people are giving each other nuggets in the chat, I have to actually come say, all right, I'm gonna do it, set up the pre-production, load up the sound, load up all the buttons in the production equipment back here so I can, switch from screen to screen, set up whatever I'm doing for the day. All this is preparation and then go live. But with that, I don't have to be there. You guys, there's different channels for different things. There's people in the voice room. You can turn your camera on, you can talk, and I don't have to be there. And it's free. But, people are prideful. And people aren't as ambitious enough as they say they are. Because if I'm trying to learn something, I'm wherever the knowledge is at. It's 2025, 2024. Everybody got an earpiece or an AirPod or something. Listen in. You got a guy that's giving you free information for 6 hours. And a lot of the things that he was saying, I can attest to. I was listening. If he would have misspoke, I would have said something. For all you to complain about brokers, you would have learned, like what I was saying on the live stream, that, this broker transparency, brokerages have costs too. What do you think? They don't have a cost? You would have understood why things happen the way they happen, so that you don't say ignorant things like cheap freight and the brokers are ripping us off and all this stuff. The reason why I don't say that is because I understand how this industry works. I don't just say things because I don't understand something or things aren't going my way. If I wanted to be inclined in an industry that I'm looking to invest in to ensure my success, I'm wherever the information is. And if there's a guy who's providing it free and he's built a platform where people can engage and other people that have insight in other sectors of the industry, I'm there. You complain about this content creator, that content creator that's charging you an arm and a leg, but I'm still trying to find ways to use technology for people to engage and get knowledge from each other for free. Well, only 20 people was there. Wasn't recorded. You missed it, you missed it. That's it, bro. It's only a handful of people in this space that I really even deem credible. Some of them we don't even, well, I don't want to say I think bygones are bygones now. I think Kirk, as far as the partial shit, I like Midwest as far as the Amazon stuff. I don't agree with everything they say. And then I just think some other people are cool. Not that I got anything against them, but those are the only two guys that I really even pay attention to. And it's a reason why. Because if I come across something and it's not worth my time, I'm not going to give it any more time. Because I don't have time to waste. I don't need the information. I have it all already. So when you're in an industry where, resources as far as valuable information is limited, it's almost like you got to be tuned in whenever you see that notification go up, because not everything is going to stay up. And that's just the gist of that. So we have to network. We have to, follow the information. Just like you following the money, you need to latch on to the information, the valuable information. There's some people that I see every time. I can scroll up here and just going through a quick little flip. Andrew Green, Don Solo, We Carry Freight, obviously Pippi, Rich in Chicago, Alex, Kelvin Birch, Marcellus I see from time to time, Alfonso. And that's just a quick little flip. But out of those 10 people that I scrolled, majority of them are already always here. And I know that they're just not sitting around not doing nothing. But they see the value. Now, I just gave you 2 people that I think are valuable. And I don't really do that much because I don't like to be, I don't, we going into 2025, fresh slate. I'm going into 2025 fresh slate as far as content. I'm not holding no old beefs or none of that shit. New beefs is different. Old beefs is over with. Old debates are over with. I'm looking for new debates in 2025. I'm looking for new smoke. I don't want the old smoke. We already dealt with the old smoke. We done got it out the way. We done turned the smoke detector on. We done opened the balcony door and we let that smoke air out. We done extinguished the smoke already. We looking for new smoke. Network. Learn from everybody. Accountability, man. Accountability, bro. Hit the like button. We going into 2025 clear. We going into 2025. We're going with some understanding. Accountability. Listen, check this out, pimp. Start holding yourself accountable. Don't look for me to do it. Try to hold yourself accountable first. Because we don't got no problem doing it. See, we saw a clear example of account. And shout out to CDL Shorty. I reached out to him yesterday, said, Mary, I don't got no problem with CDL Shorty. I didn't know he was as young as he was. I would have been a mentor to him. I like CDL Shorty. I don't like his practices, but I like CDL Shorty, man. He seemed like a nice guy. But I got to keep it funky, though. You know me, I keep it funky with content creators. I keep it funky with content creators in the boxer space. I had a few, we had to dust a few people up. But check this out. CDL Shorty, shout out to you. Merry Christmas. I know you watch, We saw a great example of accountability from 2 perspectives. I was going to put MW Lou's video out this morning anyway, but it's just, it's crazy how it came after that situation. Here are 2 examples of a content creator met with adversity and the way you should handle it. Here's 2 examples of content creators that both kind of do accountability a little bit different. I don't call people out their names and shit like that. I don't worry about what other people are doing. You know what I'm saying? But here are 2 examples of accountability content and the results based on tenure, based on experience, and because of that, the challenges. People see a lack of experience. People that are watching, not everybody is a novice. And when presented with the opportunity, the people that see those flaws in your armor, they're going to come at you. They're going to challenge you. These young bulls, Accountability is not for every content creator. Not every content creator can do it. You have to have an extensive knowledge on the industry to be able to check somebody on their bullshit. If you don't have an extensive knowledge on the industry, accountability content isn't for you. All right. But we need to stop making excuses. We need to hold ourselves accountable. We need to, look at 2024 and go into 2025 and hold yourself accountable for every missed opportunity, every expense, every decision that you make. NW Lou. Perfect timing after the CDL shorty. I sat up there, I let him talk. Because all his frustration was really with himself. I didn't have to call him out his name. I didn't have to do nothing. I didn't care that he was hitting. And I remember that live stream. When I was sitting back in the chair, I glanced over at the comment. Some of y'all was like, get him, Lou. Get him. You thought that was going to be the day that somebody took Mark out. I saw some of y'all. Some of y'all was like, get him, Lou. Yeah, get him, Lou. Yeah. And then when I came back, when it was my time, because I was chilling. I was in the cut like that, chilling. I let him cook. But then when I sat up, though, yeah, y'all was upset. It was only a handful of y'all. Y'all thought that was going to be the day. Yeah, y'all was upset. Y'all had to tuck y'all tail then. Yeah, that wasn't the day, pimp. Lynn W. Lou ain't holding himself accountable. He mad at himself. And that's what most people are. You just looking for a scapegoat. You looking at it for an outlet. No. Hold yourself accountable for the decisions you make. Don't get mad at me or nobody else. Hold yourself accountable. You buy a truck without doing your due diligence, beat yourself up. You don't know your cost per mile?
I don't give a fuck about a cost per mile.
Beat yourself up. You didn't transition properly because you didn't understand economics as it pertains to the trucking industry, and you didn't position yourself correctly, or you're misappropriating funds, or you're robbing from the sustainability of the business because you don't understand.
I don't give a fuck about a cost per mile.
Beat yourself up. You go to Perco, beat yourself up. You pay for some course or spend $20,000 on some mentorship and then get upset because you feel like you didn't get no value, beat yourself up. You do anything that wasn't in the best interest for your business because you didn't take the time to do the due diligence, beat yourself up in 2025. Self-accountability. It's going to make you a better person. It's going to make you a stronger person. It's going to build resilience in you so that you make better decisions. Life is about choices and decisions. Life is about choices and decisions. If you understand that, then it's going to trickle to the way you make decisions in your business. If you go about life understanding that life is about choices and decisions, then it's going to already display in your business. You're going to think about every single decision you make. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. I'm going to be here to hold you accountable. We've seen 2 examples of accountability from content creators on this channel for lack of full understanding of the industry with a person who understands the industry, and 2 tough debates, and it's 2 different outcomes. I'm going to be here to hold you accountable. I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to be right here in the crib. I'm going to be in the crib. Don't worry about it. I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to be here another year. I ain't going to be here forever, but I'll be here in 2025. Don't worry about it. I'll be here. I'm going to hold you accountable. Some of y'all going to get upset. Some of these new people that come to the channel that was sold a dream, they're going to get upset and say, I'm crushing their dreams. And you're going to have triple S and shit, doing push-ups in his living room and all this. I'm going to deal with more of that next year. And we're going to hold him accountable as a community. Oh, yeah. We're going to hold him accountable as a community, and some people going to be upset. But, we need to reflect on what we do wrong, and we need to fix it. We need to fix the problem and move forward. Stop crying over spilt milk. Fix the problem, self-accountability, fix the shit. Don't do the shit again. Move forward. Period. We do not want to have this conversation at this time in 2025 about the same shit that can be prevented. For real. That shit is crazy to me. You got a blank slate, some of y'all. Some of y'all ain't even came in. Some of y'all watching, waiting on your tax money. On the new. I know you waiting. You nervous. You like, man, I hate to say that dude is rough. But you're going to have to say something. In February, you're going to have to be active in chat. You that's watching, that's waiting on your tax money, waiting on your little boo-bay tax money. Yeah, I'm going to see you in February. Ooh, yeah, you're going to have to call. The call-in show in February, March, ooh, that's when we get a lot of calls. You're going to have to call in because you ain't going to have no working capital because you're going to come in with $4,000, $5,000. That's going to be all the money you got. So you're going to have to come talk to Big Mark for free. I can't wait. You're going to have to come talk to me. So the way you can avoid it, know your cost per mile. Understand what you get into before you get into it. Because I'm hungry. Ooh, we want to hold somebody accountable. We ain't going to do the call-in show no more this year. We taking a break. I'm hungry for accountability. See, y'all going to respect my accountability a little bit more now. Ooh, Lord. I can't wait. Ooh, that little fresh, that little new, that little tax accountability. I like that tax accountability beat. Remember, buddy, with the 5,400 last year? Ooh, that was some good meat. Pause. That was some good engagement. I can't wait. That's that tax money call-in show. Ooh, that's some of the best call-in show engagement. I can't wait. Your time coming. I'm talking to you. Yeah. Tamika, yeah, it's coming. Tamika already. Ooh, next week on the 30th, she gonna get that form. Ooh, Tamika, she gonna go to Rapid. I'm coming for you. Oh shit! I'm crazy. Something wrong with me, man. Something wrong. Now, all your content crazy. A lot of them can't talk like this. They can't talk like this. Listen. We put on some of the best box truck content, and we're going to continue to put on the best box truck content going into 2025. You ain't going to agree with all of it. Some of it's just going to be comedy. Some of it, you may not see the education in it. But trust me, everything is a lesson to be learned. Well, it's about to get slow, guys. It's about to get real slow for some of y'all. Some of y'all are going to have a lot of time to watch Mark. That time is finally, it's come. Things are about to slow down. It's Christmas Eve. People ain't finna be spending no money for the next month or so and 2 months. And we're going to have a lot of time to talk. So I hope everybody enjoyed the show. We have been on about an hour and 38 minutes. Is there a question? Is there any questions? Any questions? To all my haters, you're going to see me next year. I ain't going nowhere. Yeah, you're going to see me. You can't. I'm going to be here. I ain't got nothing to do. Shout out to all my haters. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to all my haters. I love you. I love everybody. I love you. You can't do nothing about it neither. To all my haters, I love you. And there's nothing that you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. I love you. I wish the best for all my haters. I hope that God blesses you with, everything that you need. I hope that 2025 is a good year. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I'm not even trolling you either. I hope you have a happy New Year. I'll be on before New Year, but, this is Christmas Eve, so I'm say some positive things. I hope, you get that hate out your heart, because that carrying that hate, that's just not good, bro. It's not healthy, man. Like, the hate, that's too much weight, bro. Especially for, what you hating on me for? Get that hate out your heart. I'm going to pray that you get that hate out your heart. Get that hate out your heart. Turn that hate into some type of, motivation or some type of ambition to go out and get you some money. All right? We going to set up a new crew next year, in the house gang. We need some more in the house people, man. It's cool being in the house. This is great, bro. We need some more in the house gang members. Yeah, we need to create some more people that can just be in the house. All right, so we need some more in the house people. We need some more money. We need just a lot of things that are just going to make the quality of life better, make it more fun. We just want more happiness, man. So to all my haters, man, appreciate you, man. I thank you for coming in and engaging in the channel and just contributing to the watch hours for the channel. And, when you hit the dislike and things like that, appreciate for that. I'm thankful for that. Appreciate you watching me. Even if you don't like me, appreciate you for contributing to my watch hours. Thank you. Thank you to everybody. I appreciate you. And I mean it. I'm not trolling. I promise you I'm not trolling. It's Christmas Eve. I wouldn't do that on Christmas Eve. I wouldn't do it on Christmas Eve. I wouldn't do it on Christmas. All right? So, shout out to Marcellus out here doing Final Mile. Do I believe Amazon is going to lay people off in January? It's a possibility. Anything is possible. Hopefully they don't lay nobody off, man. We don't want to see people get laid off, but, business is business, and if layoffs is something that they need to do to, increase their bottom line, then that's what they're going to do. If they need to cut employment to increase revenue for whatever reason at that particular time, then that's what they're going to do. That's what businesses do. T. Hill said, why do you need to know your cost per mile from a business perspective? Because when you know what your cost per mile is, you know how much it costs you to operate your business, so you know what to accept or what not to accept. For instance, if you don't know your cost per mile, shout out to NW. Hold on.
I don't give a fuck about a cost per mile.
If you don't know what your cost per mile, how can you select what rate per mile to accept or not accept? For instance, if your cost per mile is $1.50 and you accept a rate at $1.50, you're just running to break even. If your cost per mile is $1.50 and you accept a rate at $1.40, you're losing 10 cents a mile. If I open up any business, I should know what it costs me to own and operate that business so I know what to charge. I like to use the restaurant if I'm running a hot dog stand, I need to know what it costs me to produce each hot dog. I need to know how much it costs to purchase the hot dogs, the shipping costs, the preparation costs, the labor costs per hour, who's on the register, who's on the prep line, who's doing the cooking. I need to understand the ingredients that goes on a hot dog, the buns, how much is the buns cost when we buy them wholesale? All right, divide that by how many buns are in the bag. So each bun costs me this much. How many slices can we get out of the tomato? Divide that by the cost of the tomato. Only put 2 tomatoes on there. We talking about a Chicago style hot dog now. Now all y'all New Yorkers and all y'all funny places, we talking about a Chicago style hot dog. Your sport peppers, how much the sport peppers cost? How many sport peppers we get in a jar? Man, only put 2 sport peppers on that, pimp. Listen. Don't go crazy with the mustard. If it's a Polish, go a little bit crazier, because crazy with the mustard and the grilled onions. Chicago style on the Polish. Pause, pimp. Jewtown. What you know about Jewtown? See, some of y'all call it Maxwell Street. That's how I know you ain't an OG. See, the OG, we call it Jewtown. The point that I'm trying to make is, if I own a hot dog stand, I want to know how much it costs to make that hot dog down to the goddamn pepper. The wrap that we put the hot dog in to wrap it up. I know how much that costs. How many wraps? We getting 5,000 wraps in a bundle? Divide that, how much it costs? Divide it by 5,000. All right, that gives me my unit cost. So each wrap we put a hot dog in costs me 2 cents. Bet. What about my paper bags? How much the paper bag cost? Man, we getting 5,000 for this much. All right, divide that number by 5,000. Now I got my unit cost for each bag. Now I know what it cost me to produce a hot dog, all the way down to the wrapping and the bag. Whatever that cost is, I make a profit, choose what I want to profit. I base that on the equation. Comps, what are the comps? Do we make the best hot dog? Is it a line down the street and around the corner? All right, you know what? This is what we want to make. This is where our profit margin going to be. We want to keep it fair. We got all the people driving from far and near to come to Jewtown to get a Polish. Now that I know what it costs to produce this hot dog, I know what to charge. Know what I can charge. There's an equation for that too, but it's going to be more than what my production cost is. Same thing with the cost per mile.
I don't give a fuck about a cost per mile.
You see how I put that little echo on there too?
I don't give a fuck about a cost per mile.
Ooh, it's crisp too. Shout out to NW. Your cost per mile is very important, so that you know what you should be charging, what you should be making, or what you should not be taking. You need to know what it costs, so you're not running in the blind. Every business should know what their operational cost is. Every business. It's very important. Good question, though. Good question. Shout out to Alvaro, says Merry Christmas. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Merry Christmas. Alfonso said, what's a good way to try a semi-cut? You're not finna CDL shorty me. Never ran a semi-truck. You trying to set me up, Alfonso. You know we don't answer questions that we have no knowledge on. Do I know where to find semi-truck contents? Of course I do. I'm not going to answer it, though, because I've never ran a semi-truck. So I'm not going to indulge into things that I've never done. I like to stick to where it's safe at. I know business. I know final mile. I know moving. I know business. Never did semi-trucking. So I'm not going to dive into that. So you're not going to get me. You're not going to get me. When are you and Mr. Jones dropping the show together? I don't know. I'm going to reach out to Mr. Jones. I want to do a show with Mr. Jones. I want to do a show with NW Lou. I want a show with NW Lou and Mr. Jones. We could do the show together. If it me and Mr. Jones, we're going to call it Me and Mr. Jones. And we're going to have somebody change the song, Me and Mrs. Jones. We're going to have somebody do a little jingle and just change it to Mr. Jones. If we can get a show with me, Mr. Jones, and NW Lou, oh my God, that would be epic. That would be epic. I'm going to work on that. Shout out to Snooty. About to buy a box truck next week. Thank you for all the good advice and mentorship. You leave the fruity out it and keep it real, which is much needed excite to get in the industry. Shout out to Selected Space. Appreciate you. Superman say he in the crib now, but finna go get this $30 for 7 miles. Shout out to you. Shout out to Beats in the building. Anthony Miller said, "Do you need to know your gig? Do you need to know your cost per mile for a gig app?" I think if you're running, let's say something like Curry has freight for like box trucks. Yes. If you're doing like a Curry route or a Curry run state to state, then yeah, you want to know what the rate that they're paying you, what your cost per mile is to see if it's going to be profitable. If you're running something like let me think here. Roadie, right? There's different dynamics for Roadie. So Roadie pays you based on, it's like a sliding scale of small, medium, large, extra large, and huge. You need to look at those orders. Can't really run a cost per mile on that. It's final mile, different equation. For something like that, I would hope you're doing that to supplement your income. So with that, I would look at each job and see if it's worth your while. 1, 2, see if it's worth your while from a cost perspective. If you're looking at a job that you're, let's say, 10 miles away from, and it's paying $10, and then from there, you're dropping it off 5 miles in a direction that's opposite from where you came from, which would say home, then obviously something like that wouldn't be worth your while. You really can't calculate a cost per mile with that because you're jumping all over the place. So with that, I would use a formula like I would use, because I ain't gonna lie to you, when I do roadie content, I'm losing. Like, I'm crisscrossing the city sometimes. I'm just trying to get the content. But for that, I would look at things to see if it's worth my while. If I see something like coming out of Home Depot and I got a cargo van that's paying me $50 to deliver a board 2 or 3 miles, then yeah, it's worth my while. You know, I would look at it from that aspect. I don't think there's a way you can really calculate your cost per mile for an app like that, because you're just all over with it. If you supplement your income, listen, I gotta go out, I gotta make an extra $100. How much fuel is it gonna cost me? I think the best way to run roadie, like in my city, is find you a tight knit area where there's a lot of volume. So for instance, when I do roadie, there's 4 Walmarts in a straight line: Hammond, Doty Road, 95th and Western, and sometimes I'll go over to Bedford Park on Cicero. All right. Within those 4 Walmarts, all my deliveries are grouped. So like when you see me do like those 20-some TV delivery orders, I built a route that was pretty much in a cluster of maybe 10 miles. But that doesn't happen all the time. Most time you're jumping from here to there. So you need to see if it's worth your while, see what your fuel costs, calculate your fuel costs, and see if it's worth your while to supplement that income. I don't think you can really put a cost per mile to that. Curry, oh man, they need this load moved from Chicago to Michigan. Yes, you're moving a load. Cost per mile. Dolly, obviously you would use the moving formula that I give you. How much is your labor going to cost? Because you might need a helper. How much is your cost of labor? What does the job pertain? What type of materials you're going to use? What are they offering you? All right, they want you to move a 3-bedroom house, but they're only offering you $200. Of course not. All right, even if they say they need one person and you're going to help them, all right, $50 an hour a man, 3-bedroom house. Shit, at 4 hours, I'm at $200. You're paying me $223 to move a 3rd bedroom from a 3rd floor to another 3rd floor. No, I'm not doing it. because it's going to take more than 4 hours off my labor costs. All right, so there's different calculations. No, I wouldn't run a cost per mile for certain gig apps. It all depends on what you're running. That's why I'm trying to get a cargo van. I'm going to the auction to get my van. I already have an LLC. Thanks, my brother. Already motivated. Yeah, so it all depends on what type of gig you're running. If you're running something like Amazon Flex, I guess you could calculate a cost per mile, but you're kind of jumping all over the place. I never did Amazon Flex, but from what I understand from it, you could drive out to a facility and you don't even know where they're sending you. So I guess after you do it so often, you can calculate. Now, Roadie, they do let you know how many miles you've driven and how much money you've made. But the thing, what they don't include is deadhead miles. So Roadie kind of it tells you the miles that you've driven from pickup to drop off for every single order that you do, and then it has what you've earned. So it kind of helps in that aspect, but it doesn't account for deadhead miles. All right. Amazon Flex, I think if you do it consistently, I think you can do a cost per mile calculation. If you're like a professional gig worker, like from that aspect, when you're working out of your car, you do this day in and day out, doing like something like Amazon Flex, I think you can calculate a cost per mile. Or you can do it per stop. Calculate where the nearest domicile that you work out of, what does it cost you in fuel to get there. Look at the routes, all right? These routes are paying, what, $50, $60 a route for 3 hours or whatever, so that's like $20 an hour. Calculate your fuel cost. You can go with that as well. I think that would probably be better for something like Amazon Flex. To be honest with you, what I've seen Amazon Flex and what I've seen with Spark, I'm going to be honest with you. To me, I don't see where you get any value in it. That's me purposely. I mean, me just looking at it. You know what I'm saying? I don't see it. When people show me this 3 hours for $60 and all these stops, and then you don't know where they're gonna send you. They could send you 20 miles away. I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. But those are my thoughts, bro, on that. Curry, yeah. Some of these other apps, it all depends. I don't know. Some of these apps, they got you all over the place. What's up, voice? Just ask it, because I'm just gonna cut it off in a minute. Oh, here you go. I got personal cash data, but what is the process of buying a truck with your business bank account? You need to loan the money to your business. I would buy everything with the business. I wouldn't buy nothing, no assets for a business in my personal name. Nothing. I don't want shit to do with shit. Don't be like one of these guys that want to just say they own everything. You don't want to own shit. Don't be one of those guys. Buy everything with the business. So if you got money, you need to loan the business money. Buy the asset with your business, and then create a payment plan for the business to pay you back. All right, you need to write that off. You need to pay yourself back. So if you want to do $1,000 a month for 60 months, let's say you buy a truck for $60,000. All right, do $1,000 a month for $60,000. If you want to pay it back more aggressively some months, then write yourself a bigger check. But make sure in the memo of that check you put loan payback or whatever you want to put. Right? So just loan the business the money, and then acquire the equipment under the business, right? And then just pay yourself back. Uber Freight still exists. They still got their corporate office here in Chicago at the old post office. From last I heard, they still haven't opened up for box trucks. I heard that they were thinking about it, or it was supposed to happen, but I don't think it's happened. I would think I would have heard. I could be wrong, but no, they still exist. I think. I haven't heard that they failed. I think they still exist. Yeah, they still around. Yeah, he's still around. You said you thought they were going to come into the industry and take over. I think because people looked at how they came in and disrupted the cab industry, but nah, they when they came in 2016, it's 2025 now. Nowhere near disruption. I think they help implement like technology in the industry from a brokerage perspective, but they've done nothing as far as disruption in the industry. Let me see. Right now, I'm not sure we don't have Amazon Flex in my area. You don't have Amazon Flex in your area? You must be in a small town. All right. Let me make sure I got everybody out the way. What time is it? 2:00. All right. No, I mean, as far as semi truck, yeah, I know about that industry, but I've never driven semi truck. See, here's the thing, like I was telling Shorty, stick to things you know, things you've done, things you're expert in, right? Because although I know something and I can direct, once you start, then more people are going to ask you those questions, and then it's going to lead you down a path of you not knowing something, because even though you know surface level shit, those experience based questions are going to come. And I'm just not the type of person to lead myself down something that I haven't done and experienced. Because then that's why I'm setting myself up to put my foot in my mouth. See, I just got common enough sense. I'm not trying to be the goddamn it trucking everything guy. No, I focus on what I know. And you gotta remember, when I first started creating content, Final Mile wasn't even popular. Nobody wanted to do it. Everybody was gung ho on OTR, no touch freight, and Amazon Relay. When I started creating content in 2022, you had other content creators making fun of me. But now everybody trying to come into the industry. Final Mile, moving. Everybody during that time was focused on no touch freight, OTR, and Amazon Relay. And I didn't focus on that shit because I focused on what I know, regardless of where the sentiment was in the space. I stuck to what I know. And then eventually people caught on to the channel, and just outside my knowledge from moving and, Final Mile, people saw, man, this guy just knows business. And that's what latched on. There's a lot of people that watch my channel that drive a semi truck, but they just grasp onto my business acumen. There's people that aren't in trucking or even interested in trucking that watch my channel. And they just watch the channel for the business acumen. A lot of the stuff that I talk about, you can apply it to just business in other industries. It's just business information. More of a business channel than a trucking channel, to be honest with you. But one thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not going to, even though I have information and I can speak eloquently on it, if you open up a door, eventually more people are going to come through it, and eventually there's going to be someone that comes because they're speaking, or they're coming from a place of experience, and I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth. I'm not gonna open that door, and I haven't opened up that door trying to be the smartest guy outside of things that I know. And I think that has, a lot to do with the growth of this channel as well. I see that happen. We just saw an example of. We see that happen a lot just in content creation. You see a lot of people jump from niche to niche because they're following the trend. They're looking at Google Trends and they're trying to follow the trends. Crypto is booming, they're a crypto expert. Trucking is booming, they're a trucking expert. Guns, they're a gun expert. Red pill was popping. Everybody went red pill. Red pill ain't popping no more. Now everybody wants to do a family channel because, you know, what's the guy's name? Cool Chris or whatever. All those Chris's or whatever their names. CJ's, not not on 32s, but the other CJ's. One is broke. I heard just filed bankruptcy, living in a $40 a night hotel room, and the chick left him. The little Dominican or whatever. I heard she done left his ass. She with buddy from Memphis now, but they wear the purple all the time. Left him and went with the rapper dude. And then CJ so cool, smooth, whichever one, he sold his channel and got to rebuild another channel because he blew the bag. But everybody, when they saw them making the bag, everybody grabbed somebody's kids, and now you want a family channel. You had a box truck content creator that went from box trucking to trying to do a family channel. And I heard now he trying to be like the dark-skinned dude with the dreads, renting parked cars and walking up to chicks trying to ask them on dates and then walking back to the car. People jump from shit to shit because they chasing success in content creation. I came in, Final Mile, moving wasn't popular. I didn't change. Because why? I don't know shit about none of this other shit. I know about it, but I haven't done it to speak from a point of experience, so I'm not going to start. When I talk about Amazon, I talk about Amazon from a business perspective, not from a experience, I run Amazon relay perspective. I talk about it from a business perspective, you know, and people used to get mad at that. I'm a goddamn shareholder. I can talk about some goddamn shit that I invest my money in from a business perspective. I ain't finna sit up here and tell nobody how to scan their face at the guard shack. And how to load their truck and how to deal with the post office and shit like that. I ain't never did that shit. That's why I don't talk about it from that perspective. I talk about it from a business perspective. So I think a lot of people should stick to what they know. Even when people try to, you know, talk eloquently from an educational perspective when it comes to business, this is how a lot of people misspeak in that realm. They talk about things that they don't know when it comes to, like, you know, supply and demand and economy and things like that. Then to a well-versed person who's well-versed and educated on this stuff, you just open up the door for a person to create content of all your misunderstanding and misleading of something that you are not well-versed in. We just saw evidence of that. It's just not worth it, bro. So yeah, that's why I think people, when it comes to like a form like education, it's cool to just stick with what you know. You know, I think that was the lesson that we learned this week on this channel. Stick with what you're good at, stick with what you know, and you'll be fine. There'll be people that'll find value in it. And if you have good intentions, you'll grow. You never know what the future holds. I didn't know that people were going to transition in. I knew where the industry was headed based off of the economy. I knew it wasn't going to sustain where it was at, even though I was telling them people were fighting it. But I didn't know that people would transition, even though I was telling people maybe this is a better option. I didn't know that people were going to transition into something that, you know, I do have vast knowledge in based on experience. Just what it was. I didn't even think about my business acumen when I created content, as far as, you know, just transitioning more into just talking more from a business perspective, right? I didn't know, because I didn't know what the sentiment of the audience was. I didn't know until I got out here and saw what the consumer, which is the viewer, was lacking. So, you know, you gotta stick to what you know, bro. So I think that was the lesson that we learned so far this week, was just, you know, content creation, content creators, and just, providing value on what it is that you're really good at. Shank says freight been fluid for him. I got a dedicated route as well. I'm on the waiting list for Rhodey and Curry. Rates are trash, but I still do them. Well, as long as you're supplementing it, yeah. I just hit my 90-day with brokers. What brokers are willing to work with me? It's gonna be brokers. I got a video on it. TQL is gonna be one of them. A lot of people don't like TQL, but TQL work with you. Go watch the video on brokers for new authorities that I got. I didn't present that was in collaboration with Kirk. So he presented, but that's in my content. Beats everybody's an expert in the bull market. The strong excel in the bear market, right? That's why I don't present. When I was presenting content and speaking on stuff, it was during a time period where, I knew if people just listened to what I was investing in, they couldn't lose because I knew it was only upside. Now that it's a little bit more volatile because we're in the thick of the bull run, people keep saying, Mark. I'm not going to talk about it because the risks that I take, you may not be able to take those risks. And I understand my influence, so I'm not going to lead nobody down astray. The next time I talk about crypto or maybe stock, we're going to be in a bear market. I'm only going to talk about it when there's upside. I'm not going to talk about it where a person who's not experienced isn't going to know how to, navigate. So, but yeah, when it's upside, everybody wants to talk about it because they want to grab a hold of that content and they want to capitalize off the trend because that's where the viewership is going to come from. Right now, crypto content creators are making a killing. Crypto content creators are making a killing, and urban culture content creators have been making a killing all year. Urban content creators like your academics and like your Antons, people that talk on cultural events from like I said this before, like your Diddy going to jail, your Lil Durk, your Young Thug, the debate. I mean, the election, Cat Williams, Drake versus Kendrick, all these things that have happened this year that were just, Lil Woody and all this stuff that happened this year. Like those guys made a bag because so much stuff just happened this year that was just dominated news. A lot of urban culture events just dominated news stories. Those content creators, especially the ones that were at the top of the mountain, these guys made millions and millions of dollars. So, some people just chase that content because they chasing a bag. So yeah, everybody's an expert in something when it's popping. You know what I'm saying? You had a lot of people in the red pill. Look at telling people to leave, telling men how to be men and telling them about certain chicks and how they should treat certain women and and now that space is dead. Kevin Samuels is dead. Fresh and Fit is demonetized. All these guys, that space isn't popping no more, so you don't see people coming into that space. So I see people coming into the trucking space talking about how truckers are failures and failing and putting up clips and just reviewing people of truckers, not box truckers, but truckers complaining about the industry. People that never did trucking. I'm looking at videos. People are sending me videos of people sitting places, just sitting there, creating content about and creating content on other truckers from their content that they put up, complaining about how the trucking industry tries and failing, and they're just reacting to their content, and they're getting thousands and thousands of views and shit tons of likes and running it up, never did trucking, just reacting to the popularity of truckers creating content saying they're failing. So, people going to latch on to what is popular. Those guys that create that reaction content to all the I failed in trucking content, you can't get any value from them as far as how to, avoid it. You just watching a person watch a video that you can go watch yourself. But it's crazy how those people get way more views than, content creators. And I'm not speaking just me, I'm speaking in general. Even the two guys that I named earlier that are providing value for people that are actually in the industry. Further proves my point that people like to be entertained. A person will go watch a person who never did trucking react to a person that creates content complaining about trucking being trash and how they're failing. Now, if I reacted to some of that shit, I could pinpoint where they began to fail, why they began to fail, and why they're in this position sitting up here complaining. Just like the last video I reacted to was the mother trucker guy with the damn Peterbilt. I didn't react to it and just sit there and just watch it and be like, damn, that shit crazy. And then 24 hours later, it got 50,000 views. I stopped the frame. Man, why mother trucker sitting in it? Man, this is the reason why he fell, and he wondering where the money going. He's sitting in the money. He went and bought a brand new truck and a decline in the economy, a decline in the industry. You bought a brand new 2023 Freightliner in 2023. Say he bought it last year, but he also said he'd been in trucking for 25 years. So if you've been in trucking for 25 years, you've seen economic downturns, and you should have known better to go out and buy a $300,000 truck and then customize it. The man got a Peterbilt long nose lowrider. He done dropped the suspension. He done customized the interior. You got leather headliner. You got Kenwood pop out radio. You just leather and suede everywhere. Then drop the suspension. You done did chrome everywhere. You done spent all that money on a brand new truck and then spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars customized. But you sitting up here talking about you finna lose your home and trucking is trash. I said this. So I didn't just watch it. I said this is where he went wrong. There was value in that. It was value in me reacting to that. He complaining, then mother trucker sitting right next to him, not holding him accountable. Pandering for the guy. Guys, this is a good guy. He has a family, guys. He's a good guy. What's your cash app? Let's send you some money. He's a good guy. He's a strong, good guy. Bro, man, hold that man accountable, bro. You complaining, we sitting in your money. This where all your money at right here. This about 400,000 right here. Why would you go do this dumb shit? That's what I would say. Y'all know I would have been right in the passenger side. I would have looked over and like, what you complain about that? Man, we sitting in this shit. I would have looked over at him like this. Man, we sitting in it. That's where all the money going, pimp. You bought a $300,000 truck last year when the economy was already in a downward spiral. Then you put more money into it by customizing. It's a beautiful truck. This where your money at, pimp, 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 pimp. I'm sorry, but man, life is about choices and decisions. You had a house. You had a kids and wife at home. Why would you go do this shit? Yeah, he probably would have felt bad. He would have cried. He probably would have felt a little bad. But I'm not finna pander for this decisions. Pandering is what got him thinking that it's the industry and not him. He's a good guy. It's good guys out here that are doing good for the industry, and this is how we're treated. What? That's what the problem is. So now this guy is thinking that the rates are trash, but he's sitting in a $400,000 truck that he's probably paying $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month to finance. That's where all his money is going. That's where his money is going. So when I do it, I'm telling you where his money is going. I'm denouncing his claims, and I'm proving to you why. All his money was in his truck. I was going to do a box truck until I watched your box truck Dreams with Cargo Van Money. A lot of people love that little series. I do it once a year, real popular series. So next year, beginning of fourth quarter is when I do the 2025 version of it. Appreciate you for watching that. Personally, when I took shortcuts in the belly, I had to go back and do things the right way and learn the right way, even if it takes longer. Yeah, whenever you take shortcuts in life, man, sometimes it don't work out. Shout out to Kenneth. Yeah, they want me to do a show with you. I don't know, Kenneth. Maybe we can talk about it. Maybe in 2025 we could do a Wise Man season 3 with a new host. We'll be like Undisputed when they switch the host. We'll just bring it back with a new host. It'd be the Wise Man. I don't know if Kenneth is we can't do the Wise Man with Kenneth. Kenneth ain't got enough experience. We're gonna leave the Wise Man where it's at. If we do a show with Kenneth, it can't be called the Wise Man. The Wise Man is retired for right now. And I know a lot of people want the Wise Man back, but I don't know, man. I don't know. You never know, though. But I don't know. But you never know. Let me see. Ron Ward says sad, Mark, because their content is substandard at its best, and it's a clear reflection of today's society mindset. Yeah. It's unfortunate that, people's mindsets are so limited today. Like, that's crazy, man. Like, people would rather be entertained than educated. I get it. And, that's why I have to add a little entertainment into my content. I had to learn that. I used to be boring. I admit to it. Somebody told me I was boring. And I credit them to helping me look at my content and turn it around. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's just where we're at as a society. That's why, education has always been not rewarded. You know what I'm saying? Even look at school teachers. And I'm not saying this because my mother's a retired school teacher, but I think teachers are mistreated. I think, a person who educates and they're shaping the leaders of tomorrow, I think they should be compensated a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Not knocking, people that are entertainment like sports figures and actors and things of that nature, but the reason why some of these actors can read their scripts is because a teacher taught them how to read. So even with looking at it from that perspective, educational platforms are just not, people value entertainment more than education. So I said them Peterbilt's caught big money. Yep. Them Pete's cost a bag. And he had a nice one too. Running Warren said it was an overall bad investment. Definitely. B sales are the guys that say no money in truck and they blew it. That particular guy was one of them. He was sitting in all the money. He was sitting in a money pit. It looked good. Listen, I was more mad when I watched that content at Mother Trucker than I was mad at the guy. Because, here's a guy who has over 500,000 subs, which is great. And I saw CDL Shorty did a part 2 to that rant he did. And he went after Mother Trucker. And here's a guy who got over 500,000 subscribers. But that would have been a classic example where he could have educated that guy and educated the audience. I feel like people that watched that video, all those thousands of people were misled. I think all those people looked at that guy and they're going on the cheap freight. And this is why I for months in the summer, I went on that tirade that I went on purposely. And I know I was pissing people off and I was looking at the sentiment. I could see it in the engagement. And I kept doing it. I don't care about your thumbs and all that stuff. I did it purposely so that you can change your mindset. That's a great example. Cheap freight, cheap freight, cheap freight. You just bought a $300,000 truck. You put $100,000 in it, damn near. But you're sitting up here, and this guy's sitting next to you pandering. Want people to send you money to help your situation out because of a decision you made. That you're a 25-year vet that made this ill-advised, poor decision. So we're supposed to feel bad that you're in foreclosure at home because you went out and spent $400,000 last year in an economy. It wasn't like you was tricked. And even if you were tricked and you bought it in 2021 and then the economy turned, I still wouldn't have felt bad for you. But then again, I would have, because at that point you would have been 23 years into the industry. So you still should have known that what you were in wasn't going to stay that way. I feel less bad for you in the midst of the shit. 2023 was a rough year for truckers that didn't know what the hell they were doing. This is a 25-year vet. So why are you sitting next to this guy and not telling him what you need to tell him? Nah, bro. There was a lot of people misled from that. This is why you got people running around here saying cheap freight and all this goofy shit. Because the people that have the power, that have a larger audience, don't do accountability and they don't take the time to educate. I would have loved to have been in that seat where Mother Trucker was at. I would have gave him the heart. Listen, he wouldn't have been expecting it. He wouldn't have been expecting. I would have caught him off guard. Well, man, we ain't on your money. We sitting in it. We sitting in it. I would have broke it all the way down. How much your note on this thing? Ooh, that's where your money at. It is what it is. All right. Skip Bayless. I'm all for it. At first take, and you Skip Bayless. I'm Steven. They always cooking you out. I mean, I'm young but wiser than you think. Marky Mark, but having much more to learn. Maybe we can create some type of idea, but we're gonna have to cut the time because you too long-winded. We can talk about something. You got to join the Discord again so we can have a conversation. We ran him out of the Discord a few days ago, y'all. Nigga, he was in here sad and shit, sad and poor guy. Poor guy. You might have to vet him, Isaiah, a little more and make a show with him and one more person. You host it like First Take. I want to do a. Here's the thing. I want to do a debate show, but I have to get people that are going to be committed to doing it, and can debate and stay on topic, not get personal. Because I think that's it's good education, but it also brings that engagement, that excitement, because people, take a show like Undisputed and First Take. That's kind of what the Wiseman was. That's what made the Wiseman a hit, because, that was the idea. And I spoke on it before, and Kirk spoke on it too when I presented the idea to him. That was my take on it. That's the idea I had in mind. And the first season was, but the second season it took off. It's something I got to think about, because then I would have to, if I did that, I would have to come up with a different idea to do it a different way, because I don't want to take away from the mystique and just, the cultural, as far as the box truck culture in the space, integrity of what we did with the Wiseman. I think the Wiseman, was something that was never done. Like I said the other day, in this space, it's just mediocrity, bro. Like everybody's doing the same thing, sitting in their house talking about box trucking or sitting in their truck talking about it. I wanted to do things and differently. I wanted to create real shows with real substance, because it's easy to just cut a camera on and sit in your living room and sit in a studio that you've made and talk trucking, or sit in your truck and talk. I want to create real substance, real shows. Think about it. Set up all the pre-production, load all the pre-production so I can just switch and just hit shit and then the screens pop. Each show for the Wiseman, I had to set up pre-production. I want to create real shows. This is why I think, a lot of channels flatline or don't grow, because of the work. So this is why, I started testimonials. I reached out to Kirk, like, man, I got this idea, this Wiseman, like, man, I'm gonna play this guy, you play that guy. We're gonna introduce a topic about trucking, but we're also gonna talk about real life scenarios, and the audience is gonna, they're gonna come. But he liked playing that character. Man, all right, man, I'm finna have my graphic guy put you on MC, take your head and put you on MC Hammer doing the Running Man, and then the thumbnails and all that shit. That shit was all creativity. It was fun. You came, you saw the heated debates, but it was from a good place, and then we put the medicine in the candy. So, I want to do more things, and I got a bunch of ideas. Some people are going to disagree with some of the stuff that I'm coming with in 2025. Some of the stuff going to be rough, but there's going to be educational value. I got a lot of ideas for different series and shit. And some of y'all ain't going to disagree. I name dropped one of them the other day. I ain't going to mention it, but some of y'all called was like, do it, do it, do it. It's coming. But yeah, I want to keep this space going in 2025, but it's not going to be mediocre. We're going to keep being creative. We're going to build, real shows with real substance, and we're going to talk trucking, but there's going to be an entertaining aspect that goes along with it. All right. So you said, ever since you said you can't be a businessman thinking like an employee, I've been working every day. I needed to tell you. Appreciate you for listening. Appreciate you for listening. The Discord is for like-minded people, and Kenneth has shown he doesn't want to be a part of the community. Yeah, Kenneth just, Kenneth is a special person. He's a special person. I like to see you have more one-on-ones with YouTubers, but it's hard when they let their subscriber count get to their head. So my thing with YouTubers, I just haven't had a good, when I have other people up, as you can see, it just never works out, bro. Like, we remain cordial, but I don't know, man. I just don't feel like when I do things with other people, it just ends up in a good space, man. And I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? That was my intentions coming in, but it just seems like whenever I do it, it's just, I don't know, bro. Just something I gotta think about. We'll see. We'll see. We never know what the future holds, but we'll see. But what you gotta understand is that when you do things with other people, especially in this space, your thoughts, and shout out to JT Makes TV for that joining the members. I'll put you on screen in a second. Your views ain't gonna be the same. Like, I have strong views on business. I have strong views on how I go about business. I have strong views, as far as implementing the economy in the business and the outlook on business and things. And some people don't look at things that way. They disregard it. They say things that I disagree with, and so and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But I think where you see a lot of people, you know, I think in this space, in any like most content creation spaces I see, it's a competitive nature there. And I don't know. I've been trying to stray away from just doing shit with other people. You know, that's just my thought. I may change my mind. If I do something, then it has to be a structured show and with a debate premise. Like the show has to be built around debating, but there has to be an understanding that, listen, this is a show. It's, obviously we're going to be at odds. We're going to have different points of view, different opinions, but that's the point of the show. We're going to leave it all on the show and still remain cordial, and cool behind the scenes. Once the camera goes off, then we leave it all there for the audience to, decide which way they want to go. And I think, if I do something in that type of, uh, you know, guest appearance type thing, it would have to be like on a show. Collaboration is the word I want to use. Collaboration, it would have to be a structured show, a season. Pop-ups, I don't think I'm interested in that too much no more. Unless I, like the CDL Shorty thing the other day, I just felt like he was, and I told him this, and I said, like, I felt like he was crashing out. I didn't even know he did another video the next day. I watched it last night, and he went off again. So that was my kind of like reaching out to him. But for the most part, I don't. But appreciate JT for becoming a member. You and the OG from Memphis should do a show helping guys with business ideas. The guy from Memphis. Who from Memphis? Who we talking about from Memphis? You said more intermediate and more advanced aspects. You get all that in the Discord. I don't think we'll ever get to that point on YouTube, Don Solo. I don't think we'll ever get to that point on YouTube. I'm just going to be honest with you, because there's always new entrants coming in. There's always new entrants coming in volume, specific times of the year. There's an infusion or an influx of new entrants coming in. And, this is, and they need the whole cost per mile and all that shit. What I've seen, that they don't join the Discord. The people that join the Discord are the people who want the intermediate and advanced. Last night's clinic, because that was a clinic last night. Last night clinic was for intermediate and advanced people. The people that were in there last night that stood there that 6 hours weren't people that were coming or engaging from a novice mindset. Even the people that were listening that weren't well versed or well, tenured in the industry, their mindset was advanced. It was advanced enough to the fact that they sat through 6 hours to soak up all the information. Anybody that sat there that long, they really want value. So I'm going to leave the Discord for that type of advance. I don't think I can, do, that type of content on YouTube. Just the turnover just won't allow it. So, and the type of engagement that I need to have in order to keep the channel relevant, as far as the satire perspective and all that shit, won't allow. I have to do that because of the viewership. There's no satire in the Discord. There's no entertainment aspect in the Discord. It's all business. The shit we talk about in the Discord, majority of the people, when we're talking business, when we're like last night, when we're talking business, There was why only a few people came and stuck around, because those were the people that want to make millions. It was boring to a lot of people. They didn't understand it. They didn't take the time to understand it. So we're going to leave that for a more smaller, intimate audience. I don't have to put on a song and a dance and a show to keep people engaged. Here I do. And I understand that. So it's probably best to separate the two. But if I ever see the sentiment change on YouTube, then yeah, we'll move forward. But right now, I just not where it's at. Look at the channels that do straight, just business flat, boom, monotone business, mediocrity, boom. Flatline. So, this goes back to just paying attention to numbers, statistics, and shit like that. All this shit matters. So we do what we do on YouTube for the audiences on YouTube, and then we understand our audience in the Discord. Two separate audiences. So not to say that people here aren't advanced, because a lot of people that were there last night are watching now. But they get the entertainment. They get more entertainment out of this shit. The nuggets and the education is for more the beginners and the novice who are looking to change their mindset and, build a more efficient business. Oh, you talking about Mr. Jones? He in here somewhere. I think I saw him earlier. Shout out to Mr. Jones. Yeah. Here he is, Mr. Jones. Yeah, he in here. Yeah, we might work something out with Mr. Jones. Shout out to Mr. Jones. Let me see. Ivan the Great said maybe do a Trucker Game Show. Been there, done that. We did a couple pilot episodes of that earlier this year. We did 2 pilot episodes, and I just didn't see the engagement there. And I was giving out money. I was going to give out a lot more money than what I gave out those pilot episodes. If it would have, if people would have been more in tune, then as it grew and I captured the audience, I would have just give out more money. But the 2 pilot episodes we did, it just didn't attract enough people. It just didn't attract enough people. Great Polo was a participant on one, and then the other guy that won the second episode, I've never seen him again. He came and got the money and ran. Or if he still watches, he doesn't engage in the chat. But I did do 2 episodes. That stuff is still up. I think one thumbnail, I had my graphic designer use the what was the Netflix show that was popular like 2 years ago with the pink costumes with the funny masks. We used that theme for one of the thumbnails. I think we used it from both of the thumbnails for both shows. We just from 2 different perspectives from 2 of the games from that show. But to me, it's Squid Games, right? So for me, it only took 2 pilot episodes to realize that, they're not interested in this. I'm not going to keep going on something if I didn't, I can tell right away. You know what I'm saying? Wiseman was something I wasn't sure of, but then I was talking to Kirk, and Kirk said, give it time. We saw interest. Then we took that little 2-3 month break between season 1, season 2. And when season 2 came, it was just up. You know what I'm saying? But I did see the interest there. I really didn't see it with the game show. Now I see what people really want. People like drama. People like aggressive entertainment. People like the call-in show. People like this other idea. I see when people see, I got analytics back here that you guys can't see. And even once I go off of live, the replay, there's different analytics I can look at. Like YouTube and Google's analytics from the back office is really detailed. I see the high points. I see the peak points in the stream. I see where people hit the scrub thing and scroll back and replay stuff over and over again. The data shows me this. So when Dizzy comes up here, I see it. Man, what happened right here when I look at the wave and I see it go like this and then it goes up? Let me go right there. Oh, that's when Dizzy came on. Or I see the wave and I'm looking at the analytics of the video and of NW and I see the engagement from the video start. It doesn't take a flat nose, and YouTube is telling me, man, out of this 43 minute, the average user watched 30 something minute. That's excellent to YouTube. Kept the majority of the video. Why did I keep a majority of the video? Oh, this what they like. But then within that wave, I'm looking at it spike up. What the hell happened here? I go to it. I click on that spike. NW Lou on that rant, tripping, tweaking. Oh, this what they like. So then I have to go back to the drawing board and be like, all right, so this what they want. All right, well, how do I still include the education in it? Because when I'm just doing video, when I'm speaking about business and numbers, you know, I'm looking at shit. People come in, people leave out. I'm looking at the average time a person watches, shit like that. And, you know, my numbers are still good. But when I look at those types of numbers, it's day and night. The CDL Shorty content, you already know how that shit did. It was people in here that night, the whole 5 hours. So there's a lot to content creation than just hitting the go live. The cost that's associated with my production is different from other people's production. The only other person that I know has really invested into production as far as our space is Vic, because he is, you know, a music producer for So Def back in the day. And then Kirk, because I coach Kirk into the equipment to purchase to put on a better production. But even with what we do, it costs money. We have to prepare these live streams. To bring people up costs money. It's not free. Each person I bring up, those are hours that I have to pay Ecamm for, on top of my subscription to stream. Me interviewing people, each person I bring up, I'm allotted so many hours with my package. And when I go over, I have to buy more minutes. To be able to stream crystal clear, I have to pay the top package for Comcast or Xfinity. The lights, the electric, the computer to push this shit. Now on StreamYard or some shit like that, I'm pushing this, like I say, from my computer and my internet. The upload speed, the download speed. You know, there's a lot of work involved in this. It's just not just turn the camera on and go. It's a thought process of the content. How are we going to present it? How am I going to keep 100 people engaged for 2-3 hours? Some of my live streams go hours. Some people can't even talk 5 minutes without silence. I can keep going. So there's a lot involved with content creation, and it's hard because for some people, it's not hard for me because I talk with what I know. So, you know, it's not as simple as you think, but I'm going to provide, you know, more new shows, some ideas I got. I name dropped one of them the other day. And we're just going to keep building. I'm saying people like buffoonery. Yeah. People like entertainment. You know, people like entertainment. Yeah, Kevin Samuels switched from men to women. And when he switched from men to women, show took off. Show took off. Still same message, but he wasn't talking to men. He was talking through women about men and then telling women what they shit was too. Smart. Sometimes you have to change. A lot of my blueprint as far as the calling show, I always give him is it came from him. The accountability angle came from him. But as we saw on the show this week, not everybody is equipped to do it. He got away with it because he was well versed in what he was talking about. I'm well versed in what I talk about. Not everybody can do that and get away with it. Okay, I got you, Running Word. Appreciate that.
Sweet.
Rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. So there's a lot to content creation. So, this space being small, niche, I don't want to conform to mediocrity. So I got to keep being creative. So some things people are going to agree with. Some things that people are not going to agree with. But I understand that. And I understand what I do when I turn the camera on, that, scrutiny is just a part of it. And I can handle it well. NWU thought he had one. But, it is what it is. But I appreciate y'all. Let me go make some runs before these places close. It's Christmas Eve. Everybody have a Merry Christmas. And, let's bring 2025 in, right? Obviously, you guys will see me before the end of the week, but you won't see me tomorrow. Merry Christmas. I appreciate everybody. We got another year down, another Christmas here. Yeah, appreciate you, man. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Until next time, peace, 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 peace.